Adam, man, what are you doing?
I'm just watching this crazy show. This dude just went all the way to Pittsburgh.
Adam, we have our own show.
I don't know.
No, Adam, like now, we're live.
What's up, guys? Hey, it's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. And the only live call-in show on YouTube. Well, not really. But we'll be right back with your news. Well. What is up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marv, and this is Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show on YouTube. Okay, not really. We all know that. So if you've never been here before, this is live, and it is a call-in show. We're going to go over today's news, and we're going to give you the chance to actually respond to those. We have taken the time before this show to make sure to document every article that we show you here today on our website. So just to show you real quick, we're going to get into Ebola. We're going to get into several stories regarding everything that's happened over the week. And then we, of course, have continued weird weekends. So we have some very, very weird and almost funny stories to show you as well. Because some of the things we talk about here are actually really scary, we thought a good way to counteract that is to have some fun as well. So glad all of you guys are joining me. I've got tons of people here already. Swiss Army Josh, Pam Burgus, CJ Blaze, Julie C, Octavian N, Salvador Sanchez. Thank you guys for joining. Marfoogle After Dark just subscribed. I love your name. Kathy B, thank you for just subscribing. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Again, the number for the call-in is 224400-MARF, and to remind you, Dex will be screening the calls tonight, and he has a live connection with me, so he can actually get me information, documents, if you have an article that you want to show everybody, if we missed something, or if we said something wrong. In fact, I have a correction from last night that I will go over tonight. We want to fix it, so you guys can actually call in with that kind of stuff. Dex, just wanted to make sure you're there. Let's get a sound check on you before it gets too late.
Hello, Adam. I am here, and hello, Foogle Fam.
All right, perfect. So it looks pretty good. If you guys have any sound issues from your end, please let us know. We have multiple, I think 5 channels open, so sometimes there's mistakes. Again, this is live. Anything can happen. If you're watching the replay, just remember you can go to marfooglenews.com, and once you get there, you can actually click on this thumbnail, and it's pretty easy. It's set up so you pretty much know what the show is about. Once you click on it, then you can actually watch live. You can watch on a second device. You can actually scroll down, and then you will see all of the articles that we have shown you tonight, including links to tweets. So you can actually follow along with us and see everything, even a year from now. So that's what's amazing about this, and it takes us a whole lot of time to put out. So please make sure to utilize it. That's again at marfooglenews.com, which is now a hub for everything Marfoogle. You can get into the Discord that way. You can get into all different social platforms from there, including Twitter, all that good jazz. Now, we'll just start without further ado. Also, I wanted to just say what's up to my my military family out there. If you guys want to call in tonight, this would be a good night. This is kind of a free-for-all weekend here. So please give us a call if you know anything about anything that's going on right now. All right, so we're going to get into the news. Again, we are bringing back the weird, and that will be later on. Surge of Mexican migrants is new challenge for T-Man border crackdown. It says here that once I get to it, migrants walk down Highway 200 en route to Huexta near Tapachula, Chiapas State, Mexico, Saturday, October 12, 2019. Migrants from Africa, Cuba, Haiti, and other Central American countries set off early morning by foot from Tapachula to the southern border of the United States. Migrants walk down Highway 200. And it says a sudden increase in the number of Mexican families and asylum seekers trying to cross into the United States has raised fears of a new border crisis, frustrating Department of Homeland Security officials who are unable to deter Mexican nationals with the same restrictive immigration policies designed to keep Central Americans out of the country. Mexico surpassed Guatemala and Honduras in August to again become the single largest source of unauthorized migration to the United States, according to the administration officials who provided data on the Mexican migrants, but were not authorized to speak about the situation publicly. Now, I put this first because I want to get your guys' opinions on this. If you live in Texas or any of the border states and you have an opinion on this, feel free to call us at 224-400-MARF. Let us know on the ground what it's like. If you live close to the border, you will know a lot better than most of the other people in the country. With that being said, we have new stories out of course, coming from Erdogan. It says Erdogan vows to crush the heads of Kurdish forces if no pullout by deadline. It says here that President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Saturday, or Erdogan, and I'm sorry if I said that wrong, warned that Turkey would, quote, crush the heads of Kurdish forces if they did not withdraw from a proposed safe zone along the border under a U.S. brokered deal, which we actually talked about that last night. It's 120-hour peace ceasefire. It says that if the pullout does not happen by Tuesday evening, quote, we will start where we left off and continue to crush the terrorists' heads, Erdogan said in a televised speech in central Anatolian city of Kayseri. So, Dex, is there anything you wanted to say about this? Because I know we've got a lot of news and we've got to get through a lot of it.
No, it's just it continues the rhetoric and the advancements over there in the country with the Kurds, and keep our eyes on it. It's going to continue to fester.
Well, anytime somebody says I'm gonna crush your heads, I think of what was it? Kids in the Hall? Was it Kids in the Hall where the guy goes, "I'm crushing your head. I'm crushing your head." I don't know if
pinching the fingers, right?
Yep. I don't know if anybody gets that reference, but it was an awesome show. Either way, world's first Ebola vaccine, and I can't even say this word. In fact, I was just talking to a friend, a YouTuber friend, about this. The people that are talking about these are quickly disappearing. That word in particular, the blue highlighted word, is something that the weirdest part about it is that they do not want it talked about. And they have always said, including, you've got the famous Voltaire quote, which I don't know off the top of my head, but essentially anything you can't talk about or any person you can't talk about it, that's usually what you should be looking at. It says the world's first Ebola vaccine was recommended by approval by the European regulators yesterday. The move was hailed by the World Health Organization as, quote, a triumph for public health that would save many lives. It says the world's first Ebola vaccine has been recommended for approval by European drug regulators. The vaccine, developed by U.S. firm Merck & Co., which, by the way, we've covered, there's a lot of weird stuff there as well, is already being used under emergency guidelines to try to protect against the spread of Ebola in Democratic Republic in Congo. It says the shot is also being reviewed under a fast-track system by regulators in the United States, with a decision expected in the first quarter of next year. And this is, again, the World Health Organization. We've talked about this. The World Health Organization has essentially had two places in the world that has kept all these bad things like the bubonic plague, smallpox, which they are also spending $2.8 billion, or they've cleared $2.8 billion for vaccines on smallpox when it was eradicated in the early 80s. Why? If this is something that doesn't exist, why would you put $2.8 billion into vaccines for it? Well, that's a question we've been asking over the last couple weeks, and you do not see it in MSM. So what I wanted to say about this is further, if something goes on, say they scare us, they say, oh, Ebola is coming, or if it actually does come, say they bring it here or somebody brings it here on purpose. Obviously, we've got a lot of, enemies of the state. Those people bring it in. Of course, it would be mandatory to take this vaccine. So that's what I'm afraid of is when it becomes to the point where it is national security to take a shot in the arm, essentially. And I think that a lot of people kind of see the writing on the wall. All it will take is one of these events to have a mandatory vaccine on something like this. Now, this is a bigger deal than people think, and nobody is really talking about this. Now, Dex, do you see how this kind of ties into this? This is the World Health Organization essentially coming up with this vaccine on it. Do you see the connections here?
Well, certainly. I mean, more reasons to get stuck, right? Any way the system can put something into your body gives them more power, more control, more opportunity to take advantage.
See, I think that there's something here. There's a lot of connectors that we're trying to put together with everything we've talked about. If you're new here, you probably don't know, but the last 4, 5, 6 shows, we've kind of mentioned it, and then there was a really good show that we did last week, and a video that we did on Marfoogle News all about this. So it's really crazy stuff as far as the connections that were made. Within 2 weeks of the Russian lab that contained smallpox, the bubonic plague, and all these things blew up, all of a sudden we are doing, smallpox. We're spending $2.8 billion or clearing for vaccines for smallpox, when it's been something that, so a lot of people kind of lash back. They're like, well, I got that when I was a kid, or I got that when I was in the military. Yes, some military had it even after the 80s. But essentially the public stuff all ended after 81, 82. So we are the worst generation off for smallpox. And then, of course, there's nothing against Ebola. And they say that this would stop it. But what else? So say Ebola became a problem. Everybody was voluntarily lining up, wanting to get a shot in their arm. And then all of a sudden, you have something else added into that shot. Merck & Co., which is one of these big conglomerates. This is something that's backed up. Look at we're going to look into who runs the company, who's connected, who's on the board. All these things matter, and a lot of people don't actually look into that kind of stuff. Just like the PG&E has Rothschild's connections. You're talking about several people. Somebody called in last night, and then tweeted. One of the gentlemen from PG&E had this weird background that tied into all this kind of stuff. So there are so many things to connect here, and we need your help to help us connect it. You guys as an audience are part of this too. So during the call-in portion, call in if you know something, or if you have connected dots, call in and let everybody know. All right. So as far as the Ebola goes, as far as everything that's going, actually, and just to remind you, I've gone back over a lot of the things that were said by Bill Gates, a lot of the things that were said by the elites. That's what I've been going down this rabbit hole of all the different things, including the Bill Gates TED Talks, the different elites friends that he has been connected to that have done other different, I guess, public speeches. I don't know if you guys know this, but Bill Gates' big thing is that he's reducing the amount of children that are dying. That's a big thing. Every interview you see of him, he says, when me and Melinda started, 12 million children died a year of this and that, and we've reduced that by half. Now it's down to like 5 million children are dying every year. And his focus is on health. He is set to give away 99.6% of his wealth by the time he dies. So there's all these crazy things. That gentleman is putting a ton of money into everything. 40 billion, I believe, into into education, into all this kind of stuff. So he is pulling some strings, and that man is making bunkers. That man is actually buying property all over the place. If you go back, you'll see the kind of stuff that he bought before. He was very conservative. Now he's buying a location. He's moving a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. With the public things that you can see in elites and what they are doing, it's very scary stuff. We're talking about him and all of his friends, not being at the Medina mansion, $150 million mansion, moving stuff and getting things, over to New Zealand. So just really weird stuff. So we will be talking about that, and I would love for you guys to call in on the Ebola subject. I know that a lot of you did a lot of scouring over the last 3 months. I know that some of my peers have been covering Ebola, the different viruses. It is one scary ass virus. I mean, this thing eats you from the inside out. It is one of the scariest things you could ever have. So yeah, you can't really say, you can't describe how scary that disease, that virus is. It says protests around the world, violent clashes hit Chile, Hong Kong, Lebanon, and Barcelona. Protests have broken out in several countries across the world, with citizens unhappy for different reasons. Some are protesting over economic conditions, others are protesting over tax hikes, and elsewhere protests are breaking out over controversial laws or prison sentences imposed by governments. And then it gives a kind of a update. Chile's president declared a state of emergency in Santiago on Friday night and gave the military responsibility for security after a day of violent protests over the increases in the price of metro tickets. He says, quote, "I have declared a state of emergency, and to that end, I have appointed Major General Javier Utiarrega del Campo as head of national defense in accordance with the provisions of our state of emergency legislation." So then you've got Chile going off. Everybody's going nuts there. And they've got riot police and citizens. This looks like a scene out of Hair. I don't know if Hairspray. What the heck is this? That's almost comical. It looks like the behind the scenes bloopers of RoboCop. I don't know what the hell that is. Is that John Travolta? I couldn't tell. Anyways, but to continue, Chile blowing up with all different kinds of violent clashes, fires being lit, the entire network is closed due to riots and destruction that prevent the minimum security conditions for passengers and workers. The metro operator said on Twitter after attacks against nearly all of the 164 stations where many gates and turnstiles were destroyed. So they're basically, they're protesting because they can't, the transportation system is getting screwed over. And I guess it's an extremely big deal there because people can't afford to go anywhere. Hong Kong, out of Hong Kong, says Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam took to the airwaves on Saturday to back the use of force by police ahead of a major anti-government march planned this weekend in Chinese-ruled city, which has been battered by months of violent protests. Sorry, tongue-tied. Following a week of relative calm, Sunday's march will test the strength of a pro-democracy movement. Campaigners vowed it would go ahead despite police ruling the rally illegal. Now, different triggers happened. Somebody got their face smashed in. Of course, that set people off. In Lebanon, security forces fired tear gas and chased down protesters in Beirut on Friday after tens of thousands of people across Lebanon marched to demand the demise of a political elite they accuse of looting the economy to the point of collapse. So you've got several countries completely in disarray. And almost on a biblical stance, there will be conflicts and rumors of conflicts. And of course, I paraphrase. You've got Barcelona, which is not one that you see a lot. It says fires burn following an event an evening of rioting as a general strike is called after a week of protests over the jail sentence given to a separatist politician by Spain's Supreme Court. It says the deterioration came on the 5th consecutive day of protests in the Catalan capital and elsewhere over a Spanish court's ruling of jailing of 9 separatist leaders on sedition charges over a failed independence bid 2 years ago. Around 500,000 people rallied in Barcelona earlier on Friday, police said, in the biggest gathering since Monday's court ruling as separatist, also called a general strike in the major tourist destination. So essentially, if you are there, doing the touristy things, everybody is saying, screw the tourists, we're not doing nothing for this country. And it is causing a huge, huge hole in their pocket. And the government and the police are even more pissed off because of it, because they are actually getting, from what I heard from one of my sources, is that the police are getting punished for these folks striking. Basically, they're saying, it's your responsibility to get these people back in order. And it's a whole lot different than it is here as far as, what they do. These are not the only places that are protesting right now. These are just the really big ones. And we're talking about there's several countries that are set to have huge, huge deals happen very soon. And we're talking about big deals. Robot judges will pass sentence with no human bias in AI courts. This sounds like a nightmare in a dystopian future, but it's not that far away. It says, it's likely that most people locked in our jails believe that that with a better lawyer, a more lenient judge, or a more understanding jury, things might have been very different for them. Human error, they will say, is to blame for them being banged up. But can the human element be removed? Law firms are already using computer algorithms to perform background research, other tasks traditionally performed by human staff. And that's just the beginning. As a computer researcher get closer to creating true artificial intelligence, it's predicted to eliminate most paralegal and legal research positions within the next decade. Now, just to remind you, like I have said in the past, almost every good career that's not an 8-year degree, that's not a 4-year degree, not a doctor, not a lawyer, is being replaced by either AI or robots. And again, a paralegal or a legal assistant, these are 2 good careers that you can have all the way through up until retirement and actually support a family. Just like being a pilot, just like being a welder or a plumber. All of these things, or a trucker, these are all getting replaced by robots and AI. And people think, oh, this is a joke. It's not. You want to talk about deleting the middle class? All you have to do is delete middle class jobs. And that's exactly what they're doing. A company does not want to hire a human being with all of their issues, dramas, and human errors when they can hire a robot to do the same thing. Now, they might hire 10 robots and 1 human to fix those robots. So maybe the best career is going to be in robot repair. I would almost go to school for that if I, tell my 13-year-old, you need to go to college for robot repair and AI algorithm class, whatever the hell that is. They just sit around and code things and go, oh, this is going to delete a channel. Because that's what algorithms do. It says, would you be happy facing a robot judge? The next step inevitably involves artificial intelligence aiding or even completely replacing lawyers. And if we have robot lawyers, why not automated judges and juries too? Why not a fully solid-state legal system? Lawyer Tom Girardi was one of the real-life inspirations for the movie Erin Brockovich, told Forbes, quote, it may even be considered legal malpractice not to use AI one day. It would be analogs to a lawyer in the late 20th century still doing everything by hand when this person could use a computer. I'm telling you, it is going to get worse and worse and worse. There should be, I don't know what they think. It's not going to be the same kind of society when those jobs are gone. When these, they're completely destroying the entire world. I mean, it's not like it's just going to be us. It's going to be Canada. It's going to be Europe. It's going to be Russia. It's going to be everywhere. There's only going to be the rich, and there's only going to be, the slaves. We are already slaves in this rat race. So I hope people are listening. Opinion. The voice from our Nest camera threatened to steal our baby. Now, we've covered something just like this before. It says, it was an unremarkable Wednesday afternoon when our nanny texted my wife and me asking if we were speaking through one of our Nest cameras in our house. We both replied that we were not. Then the nanny texted that a voice was coming through the kitchen camera and using bad words. I immediately pulled up the video feed and began reviewing. I hear the familiar chime, which means someone is about to talk through the camera. Then, to my horror, a female voice that I don't recognize starts talking to my 18-month-old son. He looks around at the room and then at the ceiling, wondering who's there. It feels as though my heart is about to beat through my chest. The blood rushes to my face. I am completely helpless. The voice is laughing when it chimes in. She says, "We have a nice house," and it encourages the nanny to respond. She does not. The voice even jokes that she hopes we don't change our password. I am sick to my stomach. After about 5 minutes of verbal joyriding, the voice starts to get agitated at the nanny's lack of response and then snaps. In a very threatening voice, says, "I'm coming for the baby if you don't answer me, bitch." My jaw drops. We unplug the cameras and change all passwords. The nanny has taken our son to the park down the street in an effort to escape. However, the damage has been done. Still helpless, I start doing the only thing I could do, Googling. I typed Nest plus camera plus hacked and found out that this happens frequently. Parent after parent relayed stories similar to mine. Threatening to steal a baby is shockingly common. And some much worse, such as playing pornography over the microphone to a 3-year-old. I dive deeper to find out how this could have happened. Essentially, an email and a password are compromised somewhere across the internet. They join millions of other email addresses and passwords, which are then cross-referenced with other websites, including Nest. When a match is found, any novice can jump on and terrorize with little to no technical background. What is worse is that anyone could have been watching us at any time for as long as we've had those cameras up. This person just happened to use the microphone. Countless voyeurs could have been silently watching, or worse, for months. So this story is absolutely terrifying, and it can happen to any one of us. So, here in a market where it's under $100, in some of them it's under $50 for a moving camera that you can put above your baby or put in your children's room to watch them, to check up on them, to put in your living room. These are all remote controlled cameras that can actually move and watch you in your own house. So I got several emails from different people before this, even 3 or 4 months ago, saying that they were the only ones that controlled their camera. It was a woman, and the camera kept moving and following her. She did not even mention hackers or anything like this. She thought it was a ghost. She thought she was being haunted, when really that was most likely a voyeur watching her. So my plead is that if you have any kind of these Ring or Nest cameras, understand that we've covered a lot of things. Ring they're adding facial recognition to Ring doorbells. Nest is probably going to be right behind them. And this is something that is actually going to be most likely mandatory, connected to the police station. These things are not good. There's other ways you can do security. See, the thing is through convenience, we complain about all of these different violations of privacy, but then when it becomes convenient, we let them happen. This is an extremely scary story, and it's common. That's disgusting. Dex, what would you recommend on people that have these, or people that even have, you've said before, any about passwords and things like that?
Get a password manager. Use strong passwords. Change them frequently, and don't use the same password in multiple locations.
You see what they said? They said that they found one password that they use for everything. And a lot of people do this. I know there's a lot of people in here right now that actually do that. It's a scary subject, and I almost want to do a main channel video on it. That's just nasty, like scary as hell. Haley Waxler, thank you for subscribing. Devilish1, thank you. Or Deafwish1, thank you for joining. Melissa Lucero, thank you for being the last one out last night. Wrong Pill, thank you for your super chat. I guess I missed that yesterday. One thing that I've noticed is OBS or Streamlabs has totally updated again, and it's just screwing me up. So I apologize if I missed that. All right. So we're going to get through this very much quicker. PG&E CEO says it could impose blackouts in California for a decade. Dex, can you explain this real quick?
Yeah, I think the headline says it all. I mean, the point, we just saw that all of a sudden they're going to roll they rolled out blackouts for the sake of fire season and to prevent fires. And I think, they're saying now that, they're so, I guess they have so much infrastructure problems with the power systems there that they're going to need a decade or more to actually get things fixed in a way that they don't have to have blackouts to help prevent fire season. So, is this going to be the new norm? Sounds like it. The new norm is we're going to have blackouts, and when they think there's winds or something's coming up, they're just going to start shutting power down, and we have to get used to it.
So does anybody know, I mean, does anybody kind of see where this could come into all sorts of different things that they could start doing? And again, we've talked about how the military, and we've shown you the actual proof, the government is drilling to do everything in the dark. They keep doing these blackouts, and it's just the weirdest thing. So they're going to be doing this every year from now on, is my assumption. Because they are so far behind all these other things. Last night we talked about the nuclear power plants that are run by PG&E, or I should say poorly run by PG&E, and this whole thing is just becoming a disaster. So I would love for people to look into what could they do by turning off the power multiple times. Is it always for this cause? I don't know. You tell me. Give me a call at 224-400-MARF. Qantas tests passenger limits and pilot brain patterns on world's longest nonstop flight. It says on the 20-hour New York-Sydney nonstop will be the largest, or the world's longest flight. Qantas pilots will provide urine samples and wear brain monitoring device to test fatigue levels. Boeing and Airbus haven't developed aircraft modifications to perform the 20-hour flight with a full payload. Sorry about that, guys. There's some sort of buzzing here. Can't stop it. Can a 20-hour flight ever be bearable? Australian airline Qantas wants to figure that out with its first ever nonstop flight from New York to Sydney, a venture it calls Project Sunrise. It says the 10,000-mile trip, which takes off Friday night from New York and lands Sunday morning local time, would be the world's longest nonstop flight, and Qantas wants travelers to get on Sydney time as soon as possible. We'll be encouraging customers to drink coffee on the flight, said the Qantas head of customer experience. It will be the first time Qantas is collecting data for a route before operating it. Qantas is teaming up with researchers at the University of Sydney and setting up the Boeing 787-9 as a laboratory, testing recipes, lighting schemes, temperatures, and stretching exercises specially designed to combat jet lag on 6 volunteer passengers. So the crazy part about this is, imagine taking off. I mean, that would like skip a day. I mean, like that's just crazy. You're actually going there at night. It's like you're traveling back in time at the same time, because you're going 20 hours. You should get there at night, but you're actually still getting there in the daytime or in the morning. That's just odd.
I have the answer, Adam. When you fly from LA to Sydney, it's 15 hours, and that's unbearable. So if they think 20 is going to be any better, they're out of their mind. But somebody will do it.
And that's from LA to Sydney, right?
Right, LA to Sydney. I think the typical 17 hours is probably London to somewhere else in Australia. Perth maybe.
I actually wonder. Like, I've never been on a flight longer than like 2 or 3 hours, so I couldn't imagine that.
LA to Sydney, you get dinner, you try to go to sleep, you wake up, you eat breakfast, you eat lunch, and you still realize you got like 6 hours left, and you're bored out of your mind. It's unbearable.
Yeah, that's crazy. Musabi 009 did. Yes, we did talk about Ebola. That you can actually go back and rewind if you would like. NASA releases photo of gaping portal to another dimension. This, a lot of you, I know that most people don't even believe that these are real, but we do think it is interesting when you do see these photos that they make. I just wonder, when people see these, why, I guess if they're in such good quality, where do you get the original? So they say that these things are so big, so many megapixels, that you have to actually like search. You can zoom in. What was one crazy? There was this YouTuber that talks about this picture, the biggest picture ever taken of space, and you actually need a strong computer just to look at one picture. It's like the whole universe, and you keep zooming in and keep zooming in and keep zooming in, and somehow it actually captures like everything. So you keep zooming in, and it's like a 3D picture. It's the weirdest thing. But when you keep zooming in and zooming in and zooming in, it actually keeps going, and you can go all the way back to the red stars. It's just nuts. It says the photo was released just a few days ago after the U.S. Space Agency published an image of a separate spiral galaxy which resembles a frisbee and is located 60 million light years away from Earth. It says the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, has published the photo of the galaxy NGC 4380, which has U.S. Space Agency said looks like a special effect from a science fiction or fantasy film, swirling like a gaping portal to another dimension. At the same time, NASA explained that the NGC 4380, which was captured in a photo by the Hubble Space Telescope, is quote, actually quite ordinary, and that such galaxies are common in the universe. So what they're talking about, too, is I actually have a tweet here. This is the photo. So when you look at this, see, to me, it doesn't look like it's the best quality, but that is nuts. Literally looks like some sort of spiral. Now, Dex, is that a black hole or is that a sun? Or
I
supposedly?
have no idea. It's not a portal to another universe, but as they say, but it sure looks interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really crazy looking. And you can inspect this photo by yourself through the links on our website, which are easily accessible. Now, of course, it's Saturday night, so obviously the news cycles are relatively crap. So, of course, it's weird weekends. So we will be getting into that. We will be taking calls at 224-400-MARF. To make sure you know that last part is 6273 on a touch tone. Let's see here. And it is officially time. For the weird. Super weird.
yeah.
Now it is officially time for the weird stories of today, and we definitely got some good ones. First off, we have Kim Osabi Rides. Now, of course, Kim Osabi Rides is Kim Jong-un, apparently, is taking after Mr. Putin by riding a white horse. Now, Dex, there's something about this that's just a little creepy. But what is the deal with this? Like this is like straight out of Putin's book.
Yeah, we saw Putin ride, I think, without his shirt on a horse, and now we've got Kim Jong-un riding a horse through sacred lands and posing for pictures, and it's rather humorous, I think.
Yeah, to say the least. To be honest, Putin looks a little bit more badass. His is like, got sequins on it or something. It's a pretty horse, at least. I'm surprised it's strong enough to hold that load up, though. It says the undated images released by the Korean Central News Agency on Wednesday showed Kim dressed in a long winter coat, riding a white horse on snow-covered Mount Paektu, the highest point on the Korean peninsula. The mountain itself is a sacred place for the North Korean people, but the white horse also represents a propaganda symbol for the Kim dynasty. So I'm sure there's some folks that would say that there's some symbolism here with, riding in on the white horse. It says he's sitting on the horseback atop Mount Paektu, recollected with deep emotion the road of arduous struggle he covered for the great cause of building the most powerful country with faith and will as firm as Mount Paektu. That's, of course, the news talking in North Korea. It says the government-run agency also said that during the visit later that day in Samajon, Kim lamented the U.S.-led UN sanctions that were imposed after nuclear talks broke down. The situation of the country is difficult owing to the ceaseless sanctions and pressure by the hostile forces, and there are many hardships and trials facing us, Kim was quoted as saying, or mumbling, or whatever he does. But yeah. Up
Can
next.
you imagine T-Man on a horse?
Oh, absolutely not.
Next. That comes out next. It's gonna be crazy.
This one is great. This is probably my favorite of the day. We call it Weed Me Alone. This is probably one of the funniest things that I've ever heard. So it says, Florida police tell man to quit calling about stolen marijuana. It says a man in Florida repeatedly called 911 over the weekend to report that his roommate had stole his weed. A deputy for the Pasco County Sheriff's Office recounted the bizarre call on Twitter. Deputy Neil Zalva says that in the Twitter video that he called the man back to tell him to quit contacting the sheriff's office about his purloined pot. Now, it says the video was made as part of the agency's Tweet Along program, which allows viewers to get the behind-the-scenes look at the police work being done by the deputies. So it actually shows him telling him to stop calling the police on his roommate who keeps stealing his weed. That we need to have that on. And up next, we have the Tooth Gary. This, of course, we have construction workers found hundreds of teeth inside the wall. Construction workers in Valdosta, Georgia were surprised to discover around 1,000 teeth inside a building wall on Tuesday. That's right, a bunch of teeth. Human teeth indeed. It is the Halloween season, and I'm sure that this is what it feels like. According to a researcher quoted in the Valdosta Daily Times, the building's first tenant was a dentist named Dr. Clarence Whittington. Man, that sounds like like Clarice, Dr. Clarice Whittington, which explains kind of the teeth's presence. It does not explain why the teeth were in the wall. But that's what life without a little dental mystery. It says the Daily Times also pointed out that the wall teeth, TM, trademark, have been found in 2 other Georgia cities as well, both times in buildings that previously had dental offices as tenants. Perhaps the big secret among dentists is they like to put teeth in the walls and then not tell anyone for generations. Who can say? Unfortunately, the teeth have been thrown away despite the local historical society asserting that they would, quote, be happy to receive the teeth. What in the hell, Dex? Like, that's just flipping weird.
I just wonder what else might be in walls now.
Well, they found all sorts of things. They found old, they found money boxes. They found gold. They found coins. What I don't understand, though, is that this isn't the first time. Like, they've found many different ancient dental offices, and there's teeth in the wall. Is that some sort of demonic or devil worshipping thing? Like, are they taking the teeth? Are they murdering the people and taking their teeth? Like, that's just super, super weird. I don't know. What do you guys think? Helmet required. Now, this is actually pretty funny. So, what happened here, apparently, it says UK starts probe after video shows F-35 pilot falling flat on his face on HMS Elizabeth. Now, what ended up happening, we'll show you this. It says, this is one of the tweets from HMS Queen Elizabeth. Are you feeling the need for speed? Here's the first takeoff in real time, as requested by so many of you. So what this guy was, it was a historic moment. And these are the ones that can take off. This is like the True Lies F-35 type thing, where it can take off and land vertically. But this was the funniest part. The gentleman was wearing a $350,000 helmet, and he took a fall and broke it just flat on his face. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's going to play again. Biffs it on a $350,000 HUD helmet and completely destroys it. On live national news, by the way. This was a huge event. Boom. Right on his face. That's why we call it helmet required. The new Tickle Me iPhone. Now, this is a weird story sent in by one of our viewers. They wish to not be named. Again, if you want to send in weird stories of any kind, please email us at adam@marfooglenews.com or dex@marfooglenews.com. We call this the new Tickle Me iPhone. And, of course, what it is creepy artificial skin phone cases makes phones pinchable and even ticklish. If that isn't the creepiest thing you've ever heard. It says, ever feel like your smartphone is becoming an extension of yourself? This newly developed phone case breaks down even more barriers between you and your phone with a lifelike skin, which alleged responds to human context such as pinching and tickling. It says Marc Tessier and his colleagues at Telecom Paris in France have devised an artificial skin for technology devices that detects and interprets a variety of gestures. For example, slapping the case indicates anger, and pinching or pulling its skin indicates an upset user. If a user tickles the accessory, it releases a laughing emoji onto the phone. Quote, "I wanted to pinch my phone," Tessier told the New Scientist when I asked he designed such a skin. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, but this is like a sign of what's to come. We're talking about biologically, look at that. That's disgusting looking. Look at the hair on the side. That's just gross. I don't even want to say what this looks like. If this was rounded in two different little forms, yeah, that's just gross. And it looks like it's like really thick and bulbousy. Well, thank you. I know you didn't want to be named, but great story. In a paper released Saturday, researchers build a long history of artificial skin in the field of robotics to harvest, quote, interactive properties of the skin that are specifically useful for human-computer interaction. In essence, the researchers believe the phone skin could increase our user expressiveness. No thanks. It says the researchers developed skin-on prototypes for smartphones, touchpads, and also wristbands for smartwatches. Why would you want this on your wrist? Like, oh, I've got a flap of skin around my wrist. No. What in the hell? Skin-on interfaces provide natural physical affordances, meaning users are more likely to explore the interface and discover new controls. Look at those. They look like skin grafts. Why is this one moldy? The creepily realistic skin layer is comprised of one layer of stretchable copper wire in between two layers of silicone. Applying pressure on the skin changes the electrical charge of the wiring. No thanks, Dex. I'm good with that. And, yeah, there's no slot for a credit card either, so I guess they could make a butt version.
That's just creepy. I would never want to touch one of those. That's creepy.
I just think this is they say it's for phones, but they're going to design stuff like this and get people used to it like this. And then, of course, put it on Androids. So that is just really disturbing.
I prefer my skin tanned like leather. That's okay. A leather case I could handle, but that is just creepy. No.
Well, I'm surprised. This is kind of, these skins have, these phone cases have a lot of privilege, if you know what I mean. Apparently they don't do any other colors. Mr. Grumpy George Papa to Isaac says, What's Foogle Fam? My grandson wants to know if you'll say hi there, Isaac. Mr. Grumpy Monkey Papa loves you. Hi there, Isaac. Mr. Grumpy Monkey Papa loves you. I hope that they put me on a green screen and have me repeatedly saying, Mr. Grumpy Monkey. Tina Garasi, thank you for joining the fam. Appreciate you subscribing. As always, if you subscribe, you will get a shout out. Haley Waxler, I appreciate you. And Tiffany Hamilton, Bill Smith, and Rick Dean, thank you for joining the fam. All right, let's see here. And let's see. All right, let's keep it rolling. If you guys want to help, so again, the weekends are a little bit slow, but we are actually trying to turn this into an actual news agency, and we want to bring on 2 more people by the end of the year. That was our goal. We highly doubt we'll get there. But we are looking for more people to help out with the channel. If you want to help support us and protect yourself, this is a very serious subject. As far as getting an EMP shield for your house is highly recommended. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP to check out all of their different products. This will actually save your devices, your car, your ham radio, and even your solar system from an actual EMP or a solar flare or something like the Carrington event. If you don't know about this, please go check it out, because we have a lot of things going on as far as our power grid goes, and we have no idea what's going to happen next. Again, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. You can get $50 off with each device, and the home EMP protection device is $100 off right now. So it's the cheapest it's ever been for you, for everybody. So, and then of course, if you have not seen this before, we are about to do our calls. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone who helps the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. And of course, the internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. We are going to be taking the first caller here in a second. I just want to remind you, if you guys do want to support the other channel, head over to Marfoogle News. That is about to hit 145,000. It's just like that last 100 that it's at, which obviously they round off now. And then Marfoogle TV is actually close to hitting 93,000. So thank you guys for getting us there as well. You can share that out, marfoogle.news, if you would like. And then if you would like to join our Discord, we have 50 state groups that are prepping and preparing for whatever happens next. So please head over to marfooglenews.com, sign up for Marfoogle alerts. And then, of course, you can watch the Earthing movie at marfooglenews.com/GT. And if you want to help support the channel and actually support yourself and your health, go over to Ground Therapy by going to marfooglenews.com/earthing. That would be a good way to go over and check out all the Ground Therapy products. It's helped me tremendously with my sleep. It's one of those things, like once you try it, you know what it is, and you recommend it to everybody, especially myself. It fixed my sleep habits. And if you have not gotten yourself a Marfia t-shirt, please head over and do that. We are also trying to do a project. I want to at least try to help Randall from RKTNN. I'm trying to get a hold of him right now, but Randall's a good man, and he had a stroke, and we definitely want to make sure that we continue to ask people to pray for him and for his quick recovery. So again, if you did not see that yesterday, also you guys can send stuff to their address. Much appreciated for all the people that reached out and said that they were praying for him. So with that being said, let's get Ray on the phone. Is that correct? Dex, you can go ahead and send them right over. We're going to get our first caller on. Looks like Rhea talking about 5G radiation and population control. Boom. And Rhea, you first-time caller out of Nevada. You are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Yes, I just wanted to call in because I'm always doing research, and I was researching 5G as I've been doing for quite a while, and I think that the majority of Americans are totally unaware in some cases of what this actually is, and it's a weapon. That's why they want to roll it out. It will cause a lot going on with EMS and a lot with the body. And there's many a way that various ones have decided that I guess the population is just too big. So we have to do something about all of the population, and things are done in a very stealth way. And I think that the American public need to all be aware. I mean, all these things that are coming out that we feel are so easy, our phones, and the phones keep getting bigger and better and various ways of contacting one another. But what good is that if it's causing a lot of our loved ones to lose our lives? And I think the majority of people need to come together, put the differences away, come together as a collective, and speak out of what we, the people, don't want. Convenience is fine. But if, in fact, it causes you to lose your loved ones, what good is all of this communication with all of these EMS? And I found a YouTube video. It was called Stranger Than Fiction. It's on Patreon. I didn't have to pay for it. And it's called over 200,000 K-tower workers burned by cell towers every year. And it's showing the back of a person that has been burned by them, I guess because they erect them. If they're burning the workers, what do you think they're going to do with a constant inundation with these EMS hitting us and our children? And the last thing I will say, I don't know how many Christians, I happen to be one, proud of it. But I know the words in Matthew 24, verse 21, 22. The Savior said that a tribulation was coming to the earth that had never been, nor would it ever occur again. And if those days were not cut short, no flesh would survive. Never a truer word spoken. You can't taste it. You can't see it. But your body is fully aware of what it does to us. And I hope there's others that will come out and speak on it. Everyone is so in tune to all these new devices, bigger and better. But is it costing us our lives and the lives of our children? The lives of the unborn babies? I just think, people, we need to wake up. And I want to thank you, Dex, and I want to thank Marfoogle for saying the things and you keeping up, helping him with what we, the public, need to know. But to know and not act, what good is it? Where is all the outreach going down to City Hall? You have to have the people come together. The people have to come together. I will say this. What the Bible has talked about, we can't take it away. But perhaps we can slow down mankind. At least let them know that we're not ignorant of what they, the forces, are doing and what they want to accomplish. Wake up, everybody, and let's stick together as the human race, putting all our differences aside, and thank God for people like Marfoogle and his partner Dex that are with us, that let us know what is actually going on, that our news, so-called fake news, does not allow us to know. Thank you, Dex, for allowing me to speak. And thank again Marfoogle for being brave enough to come out and to say what so much of main media, which is bought media, does not say.
Well, so I believe that, you know, I've said it before, we should be like Hong Kong is now, only against 5G. But I think, you know, people, even the people that hate it, some of them are saying, well, it would be convenient to have faster internet. And it's like, you know, it's like, what are you guys thinking? You're talking about the frequencies. If every single person knew that even lower frequencies can alter water, it can actually manipulate water, it can manipulate, you know, actual, you know, physical things. You know, 5G is a couple hertz off of something that they use as a military weapon. And we're talking about they could turn it, the power that's going to be involved in this, they could switch the frequency like that and turn this into something that would just make us all just go, boom, deleted. That's what I think. I mean, it could cook us. If it was set wrong or if something happened, you're talking about frequencies that could literally cook people. If not, it's going to give, you know, all sorts of cancers to all sorts of people. I mean, they're right now, they're removing 4G towers away from schools because, and by the way, they only do it after 4 or 5 kids get rare brain cancers and all the parents start complaining. We covered that. And of course, the school was getting paid $3,000 to have a tower right next to the school. What's even crazier is my 13-year-old's freaking middle school has a tower on their campus. So I've already joined a few other parents, and we're doing, you know, what we can to say, screw this. You can't have that. So I totally agree with you, and I appreciate your call. And of course, this is a platform for you guys just as much as it is for us.
I thank you so much for the platform. And what I'd like to say, you can't win a war by one soldier. It takes soldiers. You have a platform that you speak out, and there are those like me that know. But we have to come together, people, as a community for our children. If you don't come out and enforce what you know with the so-called people that we elect, letting them know that if you don't push forward what we, the people, want, and you have to start small, so we start with our cities, and then we go to our states, that we will not elect you. You have to force their hand. If you don't force their hands, why would they act? A lot of times, these people that are in office, they're being paid off. Where are the people, we, that will stand tall? Where are the marches in the streets? Where is the bombardment on City Hall? From there, you go to states. Where are the letters that go out to the president? Bombard them. If you stay silent, then expect to get nothing. I'm just looking at my community, and we are being inundated with 5G. And the last thing I will say, I don't know if they took it down, but there was a video that was on YouTube where Ted Turner was being interviewed by Charlie Rose. And he spoke of 5G. And it was brought to his attention, the problem. And he just stayed silent. So it's not to say that the elite don't know. They do know. But they felt that there are too many people. That came out of his mouth. Not Charlie Rose, but Ted Turner. We are overpopulated. So perhaps, I'm not God, but perhaps certain things are brought about so that you can lessen the population. All I'm saying, people, you can't win a war if nobody speaks up. And along with speaking up, you have to do something. What do I suggest? Vote these people out. You have to let people know you mean business, and we understand where the elite is coming from. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your call. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful night, okay?
You too, and stand tall and safe, you and your family.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You have a wonderful night. Bye-bye. I know a lot of you agree because we've had so many emails about the same subject that she's talking about. It's a very, very complicated subject. Hello, you were live on Marfoogle TV. Is this Snafu Snaps?
Well, hello, Marfoogle TV and fam. How are you doing tonight?
What's going on? So,
first off, I just want to say happy birthday to Lynn from the Ann Lynn show. Before I kind of tell you what I wanted to call about, but
well, you kind of ruined my surprise there, bud.
Oh well, dude, you know what? I'm sure. You know what? I know you'd want to wish them just as much a happy birthday. We love those girls, don't we?
That's all right. I was gonna do a happy birthday to Ann Lynn tonight, but that's fine. You ruined it. That's
I'm like so everything. Sorry, my man.
That's okay.
Oh well, I'm sorry.
So you wanted to, but by the way, happy birthday, Ann Lynn. Is it Ann or Lynn? It's Lynn's birthday. That's right.
It's Lynn. It's the Lynn, I believe, from the Ann Lynn show. I believe it's Lynn.
She's turning 39 years old.
Wow. You know more than me. I just knew it was her birthday, Mark.
I know. I'm just kidding. You know that I think after 22 years old, there's no years involved on a woman's birthday. But
it's just another day for
exactly.
all of us mostly.
It's just a happy day.
Age.
So PG&E blackouts and fiber optics. What's going on with that?
Yeah. Okay, so it's almost like, you know how we always have the family members that come up with different stories and they seem uptight, and you always talk about a story that comes on mainstream media later down the road. When you mentioned the mining, it reminded me when that photo, I believe it was WV and some of the people out there that found that truck in front of the mining academy. They were talking about it could be a weapon, not a weapon, on top of the Hummer. And then I wanted to point out the blackouts. Like, I worked as a flagger for many years too. And we would have Excel Energy come out, and they would have to work on malls, big old facilities and stuff that have fiber optics that are buried in the ground. and we see 5G going up. And you talked about the cables from all these nuclear plants and just big moves being made with just different companies and things like that. Part of me wonders if some of these blackouts are for construction purposes too. I mean, we remember hearing the booms forever, and the booms seem to have kind of gone away. We haven't heard any of these boom stories lately. So on a construction view, if things are kind of happening as people have been talking, these blackouts may be linked to some of it. And I just wanted to kind of bring that theory out there.
No, that's a very interesting one at that. You know, the whole subject with PG&E has gotten, you know, more confusing, and the more that people dig, that company only gets weirder and weirder. So,
yes. And I do want to point out, like, right when it went out, the minute that they announced that they were going to go down, the actual website went offline too. And the website went down. You know, it's back up now. A lot of people are calling this a beta test for, you know, a form of law, you know, kind of. But I just think there could be many rabbit holes on this thing. And as you said, it's getting weirder. And I just remember how, you know, we had to turn electricity off to major parts of different lands, like different houses, different areas, for just like working on big malls or big hospitals or facilities like that. You know, they'd have to dig down in the ground and get those fiber optics, you know, that run a lot of that stuff. And if they're setting up all kinds of stuff, we know 5G is going on. I just thought these blackouts may kind of be involved, allowing them to get work done that needs to get done.
Yeah, or do meetings, and then people said that there were UN trucks and UN units and all this stuff in California. We never got confirmation of that. But what if they did drills when they you know, they could go out somewhere where, you know, would possibly require power to go out to, or I don't know. It's very odd. And then the website going down on PG&E, you know, one thing to think about is, so one, they're shutting down the power. The website got taken down by too many people reporting. This can happen to anybody. This literally could, you know, these are people that we depend on. Our lives depend on these power companies. And, you know, it doesn't matter how big of a company it is. It could go completely down, or it could have complete blackouts, or the whole thing could just be completely destroyed. Yeah. If you have a company like this running our power, that's bad.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen it with our bank system already with like CenturyLink, and I mean, that ran 911 calls and EMT stuff. I mean, we saw the power down at CenturyLink as well, and we see all these optics, as I like to say, Adam. You know that the optics are high, as I say.
Absolutely. Well, is there one more thing that you wanted to say before you go? Which, by the way, I'm proud to say. Hold on, I'm just proud to say that I you know, everybody talks in this family, and I'm proud that you got rid of your kind of negative videos, and I'm glad that you are taking the stance of, you know, doing positive and going in a forward momentum. Because again, most of the stuff that gets said outside of my realm, it all usually just comes back to me. So I appreciate it because, you know, obviously you're your own person, and not much I could do other than telling you not to do them. But I do appreciate you finally taking those down.
No, you know what? And that's the thing, Adam. You're such a humble. Like I always tell everyone. I say, "Oh, he's such a Yoda to all us smaller creators." This man is one of the most humble dudes, the most creative, coolest dudes out there on the YouTube platform, giving people a voice to talk about topics that are very important in the days we're in. And it's just much love, man. And sometimes we all get a little, you know, heated, but it takes people like you who lead a good example to all of us. And I'm just glad that I was able to do what I needed to do to go in your lead, take that example, saying, let's get rid of this drama, let's not talk about any of this stuff, and let's just move on, because the world is changing so fast. And it's guys like you and all the other creators out there, and people, all of us from all sides, who are going to be the ones talking to these people when they need to know what's going on when mainstream media is not telling us everything. So thank you, my man.
Well, no problem. Hey, Snafu Snaps, you have a wonderful night. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. All right, so up next we have Susie, first-time caller out of Florida. Blackouts in California, Marines and SEALs recused children in underground. What's up with this?
Hey, hi, Adam. How are you?
Good.
I was calling. I heard you and the Fooglers discussing the nighttime raid in Northern California where the power outage occurred. And I've seen 3 different sources that have talked about that the night that the raid, the power was shut out, that the Marine Corps and the Navy SEALs conducted a nighttime offensive, and they raided underground bunkers and rescued over 2,100 children that were being held in cages underground.
Well, supposedly, right? Or is this a rumor? Is this confirmed? Or, you know?
I guess I'd have to say, for me, it's supposed because I've heard it on 2 different channels, and I also found it on Google.
Yeah, so I would definitely, I think it's a Q related thing. So maybe I would love to look into this. So they're saying that the power went off, and they went in and got these kids out of cages.
Right. They said that this was a joint effort between Mr. T, the military, PG&E, and the governor of California. And that's why there had been so many nighttime maneuvers being practiced. And also all of the nighttime equipment, the night vision goggles and all that sort of equipment that had come into play. And everyone was trying to understand what all that was about.
Well, I don't know the source of this. I do know there's a lot of things that I hear on the internet that I almost feel like people have kind of put out there because they can take a couple facts from one thing and then kind of spin that into something and go, well, that makes sense. You know, because they'll take a real thing and then kind of put some fake stuff in there. But I don't know the source of this. I didn't hear about this until just now. So thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will definitely look into this. But the only reason I said it was Q stuff is because it's from. I looked it up and it says 2,100 children saved in underground California bases. And then I've never heard of the Sainted Anon channel, but I'm friendly with all the Q guys. And you guys know I'm friends with all of them.
Yeah. Well, this is on Reddit also, and it was on You Are Free TV. I don't know if you've ever seen her show, but it's a very interesting show, and she really does check her facts as you do, before she puts anything out there. And so she has quite good credibility, so I thought you might just be interested because so many pieces did fall into place regarding the nighttime maneuvers that had been going on and the other things that you and other callers had discussed. So I just think it's very interesting, the timing and everything on it.
Yeah, no, I in fact, have we talked? I wonder if this woman and I have actually talked. I don't know. Hold on.
Gosh, I don't know.
Trying to see what she does. She show her face on her videos? Yeah.
Yes.
She's she's grown quite a bit since the last time I saw her. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you for coming and stopping by. And if you folks haven't checked out You Are Free TV, she does. She is definitely a very, very smart woman. I've watched her show back in the day. I don't know why we had an exchange at some point, but make sure to go check out You Are Free TV. Well, thank you, Susie. Is there anything else you want to say before you go?
No, just greetings to everyone, and thank you very much for taking my call.
Of course. We'll call back again, all right?
Oh, thank you so much, Adam. Bye-bye.
All right, good night. All right, and then, did she change her channel name? I swear it was something else. Either way, let's see here. Up next, You are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Yeah, hi Adam. I've been watching your show for probably over a year now. I think since you put out the one on the what was his name? I think he was like a guard or something for some place you were checking out.
Oh, FEMA Region 10.
Yeah. So that was when I first found you, and I started watching. I've been watching you ever since. And
thank you.
I heard the lady that was. Yeah, I heard the lady on the last one of the last callers talking about the 5G. And I've tried to probably send this over through the live chat and a couple of previous shows, but I know that it runs so fast, people probably don't see the link. But the lady that's done a lot of research, and I wanted to just kind of throw her channel out there, was Dana Ashley. She's got a lot of good stuff.
Okay, I will pull up her channel as well. Thank you. I do have the link here. So I have not talked with her either. I think I've reached out to her before. That would be something I would love to do as well. If you guys go over, if you are a watcher of Dana Ashley, make sure to reach out from the Foogle Fam and ask her if she wants to do some sort of collaboration. Again, a bunch of you reached out to Mr. MBB333. Thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it. But for anybody, if you guys want to see collaborations happen, you guys are all family members, go over and ask. So is there anything else that you wanted to add into this?
Well, they also talk about there's a 5G summit, and you can look that up on Google search it. It's like a website that you can get like 7 days free access to all the different people that speak on, being prepared. Her videos are great. She's done obviously a lot of extensive research and had some interviewers. So yeah, if you can get in touch with her, I know she doesn't throw out videos very regularly, but when she does them, she's obviously done a lot of research on it before she puts them out. And the summit was something that I think that she collaborated with a lot of other people. And that was pretty much it. I just wanted to throw that out there because I've heard a lot of people talk about it. And I think, this is important for all of us to kind of get the word out.
No, I agree with you. And then I looked up the 5G Summit. I don't know if this is the same one, but it said that it was on October 14th through the 16th. Funnily enough, in Barcelona, Spain, where all the protesters are going on. So I don't know if that's the same one. Probably not.
I don't know if it's the one.
There's a bunch of them, actually.
There is. This one is specifically the5gsummit.com, and it says when it loads the page 5G crisis, awareness, and accountability, and that you can register below to access the talk for 7 days for free.
Okay, so actually I pulled it up. It says it's the 5gsummit.com, and you can go right into it. It's a secure website as well, which is nice. And then it shows you the 5G crisis awareness and accountability. Boom. So it makes it extremely easy. You go to that website and you can get to what she is talking about. Well, thank you. Am I saying this right? Adura? That's a very beautiful name.
Audra.
Oh,
Thank you.
I think Dex just didn't know how to spell Audra. But either way, both are beautiful. He spelled it Adura.
That's okay.
Audra.
Oh, okay.
And he's fixing it now.
Audra.
You can see him live down here going, whoops. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Adura.
Okay.
All right. You have a great night.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. That's funny. Dex, down here is where you put the name. You should go ahead. You should write current I'm sorry. There we go.
How's that?
Is that not cool, though? I don't think people realize how much goes into this show. This little live bar here, that was a whole nother step in our...
I apologize for that typo. I do know how to spell Audra, but yeah, I was wrong.
Adura? I thought it was kind of a cool name. I was like, wow, Adura.
All right, let me get Tracy over to you in a second.
All right, cool. I was going to say. Adura. Okay, I'm done. Almost 3,000 folks watching on a Saturday night. What are you guys doing? I thought you guys were supposed to be out at the club, clubbing it up with the clubbers. All right, you are live on Marfoogle TV. Tracy, is that you?
Yes. Hi, Marv. How you doing
Good.
tonight?
How are you doing? Are you having a fun Saturday night?
Well, I'm finally trying to get back to normal. I was one of the people affected by the power outages. It happened on my birthday, and I just was listening to about the optics and everything, and I live on a highway, and I kind of been watching what's been going on through all these things, and it started a while back when they're giving out these free California phones, and I live in an area where every phone I got, it didn't work. And they would tell me they're working on the towers, and I finally found out.
Wait a second. Can we go back a second? What are the California phones? Or is that something the state is doing?
Free phones to people.
Okay, kind of like the Obama thing, where the Obama phone kind of thing, where it was free 500 minutes.
They're doing it like in New Mexico, but if you don't get reception in the area, they won't give you one. So I think they're giving them out for other reasons, to track people and other recognitions.
That actually makes sense, yeah.
And I've tried so many phones, and they don't work in my area. And they say, well, we're working on the towers. And I finally got to somebody saying that they're going to do fiber optics. So, you know, and I was kind of happy that I wasn't near a tower, you know, and that I didn't get it. But, you know, I tried again because they were sending them to me. They actually had it in my town, and they're called 5G light phones. And so they said that it will work in my area. Well, of course, it didn't work at my house, which I'm kind of happy. But I do keep my eye out. I live on a highway. And I noticed that they also is working with our local cable company, which is Mediacom and PG&E. When PG&E had their shut-offs, they were only working at night, so no one could really see what they were doing. But I would come out and I saw that they had like rewired all the lines in front on my highway.
Did they change the poles from wood to metal?
No,
is that one thing?
They did not change the poles. They've already gone through all the poles, and they've said which poles needed to be changed, but they didn't change any poles. All they did was rewire the poles, and they were putting us back on different grids because I thought it'd be smart getting rid of my smart meter, so they couldn't just turn me off. But then they went to the grids turn-offs, and then now Mediacom is our internet cable TV, is doing nighttime work, and they're just shutting us off our internet TV and phone, which is kind of hard because going out without a power outage, and I'm disabled, so I need communication. So they don't, they're working at nighttime on our lines, and I noticed that they're doing it underground. So, yeah, I was just listening to another caller talking about fiber optics and things underground, and so my internet, I'm like, we're trying to make your service better, and I'm like, tired of this. I've just gone through a shut off, and now you guys are shutting us off anytime you want. And I went out driving, and I'm like, okay, they have all these construction companies, and they're doing lines underground, you know. Then my cell phone didn't work at the same time, so I had no phone, no landline, no TV or anything.
So by the way, it's a huge project, but you would think at this point, now that they're bankrupt, but they could do underground power lines in very expensive neighborhoods. That's what they do. Or in windy places, they put the power lines underground. That's why if you go into really, really, really nice neighborhoods, you don't see power lines. They're classy neighborhoods. In Medina, they don't have that. So,
that's why I've been trying to tell people, if you do have them above ground, and everybody here is saying, why don't they just put them underground? No, they want to put cameras on them now. They want to spend money to put cameras to watch.
I get it. It doesn't make any sense. Well, Tracy, we passed our time, but I wanted to tell you that I will be praying for you. You said you were disabled, and I'm hoping that you get better. As far as just in general, I hope you have good health and everything else. And
I appreciate it.
I think you make sense. That it's really stupid. If they're going to lose $2.8 billion or whatever it is every year, shutting off power because of fires or these lawsuits, why don't they do one section at a time and, spend the money preemptively? Like I was saying, Japan would have done this already. Places like Japan prepare and they go, well, if this is going to happen 5 years down the road, we need to prepare for it now. Write a check, get it done. So, all right, go ahead.
One more quick thing.
Go ahead.
Because we had major winds, like I think it was last night or the night before, gigantic fire. They didn't shut us down.
Exactly.
And so
doesn't make sense.
So I just wanted to throw that in, but yeah, I'm just watching what they're doing, and they do say they have them under and on, but no, we have all power poles. So.
I completely agree. Well, Tracy, you have a wonderful night. Be safe. Be prepared.
Thank you. It's good talking to you. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Call in anytime, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Bye. Night.
God bless. Let's see here. Up next, we have Brian. And I mean, do you guys not agree? I mean, if this is going to be an issue, I guess the sparks. What happens on an underground neighborhood? Do they still have to have one exposed transformer or something? Or if the fire happens, does it happen underground? I'm not a power expert by any means. Brian is also a first-time caller. Whoops. Sorry about that. Brian's also a first-time caller out of Northern California. Brian, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Yes, sir, Marf. You and Dex are like my new Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon.
That's what we were going for.
Anyway, I'm from California, Northern California, and about 100 miles north of Frisco. And California officials, that's how they put it, they don't give us any more information, have taken away all the repeater stations for your ham radio users. And so the hams down here are going to be without any way to use their equipment, which I think is insane, because during the fires, thousands of people were saved by those hams. And,
okay, so do we know this for... Okay, wow.
Oh, yeah, you can
look at this.
Check it out.
California officials declare ham radio no longer a benefit. Are you effing kidding me?
No.
Get ready, folks. This is exactly what we're talking about. I don't think people realize how serious this is. Demands ham radio repeater infrastructure to be removed. Are you effing kidding me? When we lose all power for an EMP, you won't be able to use your ham radio. This is effing stupid. Are you effing kidding me?
No, brother. And Mr. Rothschildren happens to be the owner of PG&E.
Yeah.
And you got to dig for that, but it's there.
You got to be kidding me.
No, you can dig
No, we've
some
talked
of
about this. The Rothschilds, we know that they.
children.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they own PG&E. They own a lot of these, like power places all over the country, if not all of them. And we're there. We're on the edge. We're right on the edge. And that map you showed the other night, the yellow map last night, the Agenda 21 map.
Yes.
That's the agenda. That's what it is. The Agenda 21 map for Agenda 21 for 2021, which is got slowed down by Mr. T coming in, because if it would have worked out and she would have got in, it would have went a lot faster. And so things got slowed down there. Thank God for us. And one more thing. What else do I got? Well, just check out the Plain Truth 3. And
oh man, he's on number 3 now.
He's on 3, brother, and I don't know how long he's gonna last there.
A Plain Truth has gotten taken down like 5 times.
Yeah, but anyway, there you go.
That's really
and
too bad.
Might be some needing to do some research, but it's all out there and it's all real, and it's that's one good or bad thing I got from getting on disability, was a ability to research. So, hey guys, I really enjoy what you do, and I mean, it's just fabulous.
Well,
and Dex is great, and thank you very much for being who you are, y'all. See you later.
All right, you have a great night, Brian.
You too.
Much love. Bye-bye. Up next, we have Mountain Man. Hello, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Hey, Marf, it's Mountain Man.
Hey, what's going on? So, let's see here. You're calling about recent solar winds and blows transformers and EMP CME protection. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so, when I called the last show, I postulated that, these, the 7-day, brownouts, rolling blackouts were because this stratosphere, the ozone layer in the stratosphere, which is allowing the UVC rays to be recorded on Earth. And my source for that is Mr. MBB333. So I'm glad to hear that you're hooking up with him, because I've watched his videos. He basically gave meters to people in different parts of the U.S. and Canada, and they just, turn the meter on and, read what's on the ground. So we recently just had a storm in the Northeast, and during the storm, 70-mile-an-hour winds, 3.5 inches of rain here where I am in Vermont, and the storm came across the country. In other words, on the East Coast, for us to get a storm of that power, it has to be either a hurricane remnant, tropical storm remnant that comes up the coast, or a storm that comes directly across the country and then reforms off of the East Coast, taking all the power of the Atlantic Ocean and blasting us. That's how we get storms of that magnitude. This was neither. This was the remnant of the Colorado storm that I was talking about when I called a week ago, and it came to the east and dumped 3.5 inches of rain. So my point is that this, lack of stratosphere, lack of ozone layer is allowing solar winds to come in. Inside the solar winds, and it's called ionization or plasma, is the electromagnetic pulse that everyone is protecting against. They're obviously going to create a fake boogeyman. That's what they always do. Someone's going to, have an EMP bomb, but that's not what it is. It's coming from the weather and this red thing, planet, energy mass, whatever you want to call it, that's getting closer. And as I told you, November 18th is when we this thing gets the closest to us. So to me, it's only going to get worse between now and November 18th. And so, boom, I told you in the last call that as I'm driving in Vermont, I see brand new electrical lines with a brand new surge protector in it, which is obviously some type of EMP shield, really high tech looking. This is Vermont. You don't have anything high tech looking in Vermont. It's brand new line. And so we didn't have any transformers explode during the storm. But guess what? Maine and New Jersey had transformers explode during the storm. Marf, when have you heard of during hurricanes about transformers exploding? You hear about trees, being knocked down and power lines being blown down, but you don't hear about explosions. And the reason why is this plasma air that comes down, it supersizes these storms, okay? So instead of getting an inch of rain, you're getting 3.5 inches of rain. Instead of getting 20-mile-an-hour winds, you're getting 70-mile-an-hour winds. And then more importantly, this conducts electricity in metal. So when this wind hits the transformer that's metal, it then interacts with the electrical source that is there and kaboom. So that's what's going on. And, talking about blacking out California for 10 years, it's just throwing us off the scent. You know what I mean? It's making us think that it has something to do, with some type of long-term thing. And it's not. It's just to throw us off the scent in the short term.
Well, as far as, I'd love to hear, I would love to hear some of these folks come out and tell us, why all of this is going on. And I would love for them to tell us the truth on what our grid is, what state our grid is in right now, as far as how vulnerable it is and what the real threats are to us. The thing is the writing was on the wall before September 2001. They knew about it. They basically told us about it beforehand. And now looking back, there was all these signs in 1997, 98, 99, 2000, and we didn't see it, right? Now they're doing the same kind of thing on all this other stuff. What's going to happen next?
For sure. There's no doubt about it. So, if you want to talk about the origin of PSE&G, who they are, you need to think this way, Mark, okay? If the 1% has all the money, okay, which they do, and the 99% does not, that means that every single one of their businesses that they have, it doesn't necessarily have to earn money. You have to stop thinking like these businesses have to earn money. They don't. They can be theaterish. In other words, they can be on the verge of bankruptcy like PSE&G is, so they can raise taxes and take more money from you. They cannot make money like Google and Amazon and Tesla because they form other purposes. Google watches everything you do with their location services. So the elite, that company doesn't have to make money, and it doesn't. Amazon, it knows everything that you buy and exactly where you get it delivered to. In other words, where you live. That's important information to them. Amazon doesn't make any money. And finally, Tesla, he doesn't make any money. He's just this really cool guy. So they gave him the coolest car that they possibly could have to put it on the market to get all these old men who have to have their fast little cars, get them all excited, get them all hot and bothered, and then use him to propagate their space and going to Mars and all the fake stuff that we've talked about on other times before. So he's just a puppet for that. And they use these companies, Marf, for that reason. So let's go back to PSE&G. In 1608 in the United States, there was a charter. 48 Merovingian families were going to build the United States. So they knew there were going to be 48 states to begin with. Each one was going to be a kingdom of these 48 families. What happened? All the infighting happened. It narrowed them down to 13 families. That's why we had 13 colonies. And in 1787, Benjamin Franklin, by charter, gave to the Pacer family, because everything that's been done in history, right, is done in writing, in longhand, and in script. And in 1787, Benjamin Franklin, by charter, gave the Pacer family, P-E-Y-S-E-U-R, all communications generation in the United States forever, and all transportation in the United States forever. Okay, and then they enacted a law that said that only, and so the first communication was telegraph, and the first transportation was railroad. Then they passed a law that said that the only people that could create electricity were railroads. So by default, the Pacers got all the electrical generation in the United States. And then in the 30s, they lost they lost all this stuff because of someone dying and the trusts that were associated with it, and it went to a mobster in New Jersey by the last name of Close in the 50s. And his daughter was Margaret Crandall Close, and she was the first Federal Reserve governor of North Carolina in the 60s, and that's when the Federal Reserve got those assets. So now let me go back to the railroad, Marf. So the railroad had created an organization called the United States Secret Military Railroad Police, okay? And that was the organization that would protect the railroads and protect transportation. Changed their name 5 times, Marf, and today they're known as the Central Intelligence Agency. And guess what? They're owned by the Federal Reserve. That means they're owned by the 13 banking families that did their deeds in 1913 on Jekyll Island. They own it all. And they have, so think of it, all communications, all transportation, all electricity. They own PSE&G. Of course they do. They own all that. They own every car company. They own Tesla. They own GM. They own Ford. Because by charter, by law, they're the only ones that can. And this is in longhand, written in 1787 by Benjamin Franklin.
Can I ask, why do you think they are taking out the repeaters, the ham radio repeaters in California?
Yeah, because then we can't work together. You heard your first caller. We need to work together, people. Roll up your sleeves and work together. You know, you're not Chinese, you're not white, you're not any of these labels that they give you. And Nelson Rockefeller and David Rockefeller in 1967. You know, if we want to go to that sad September day, Marf, I mean, I'll blow your mind away. You want to give me another call in at another time, but by eminent domain, they handpicked the land that the World Trade Center was built on. And the thing that you need to understand is...
Oh, no, go ahead. But we should talk tomorrow. I want to do a collaboration with you. I've said it before. We got to get it done tomorrow, okay?
I sent all the pictures to Dex, so he has them that they're going to support what I'm talking about. But everyone talks about the Rothschilds. You forget about the Rockefellers. The Rockefellers created all industry, and they're big pharma. The Rockefellers are big pharma. So Nelson Rockefeller was the governor of New York in 1967. He took that land by eminent domain at a specific spot because through the Washington Arch on the Lower East Side, okay, which was designed after the Arch of Titus, who destroyed the Third Temple. That makes the World Trade Center the second temple. That makes World Trade the third temple. You can look through the arch and you see the 2 World Trade Centers there, and it was purposely built that way. And so the towers themselves were actually DNA markers. They symbolize the 23 chromosomes from the man and the 23 chromosomes from the woman. And the fact they were taken down, 2 becomes 1. The 1 tower now, basically, that was the start of the beast system when they told us that we don't need men and women anymore to house demons because we can clone and we can, connect to AI and do all those things. That's what they were showing us with that. I think it's Actus Probat. It's on the actual arch itself, but there's pictures and everything. There's a whole satanic ritual that went on that day, and that's why I always say that nothing has changed since 2001. I mean, it's the same. It's the same technology. You just got a few more megapixels in your camera. It's a little sharper. It's the same shows. It's the same it's the same. Spider-Man 6, Spider-Man 7, Avengers 12. I mean, it's all the same thing. There's nothing new. There's no new music. There's nothing new. It's 2001. Nothing. It's
Mountain Man, this is so crazy. And by the way, okay, so that's one of the truest statements ever, by the way, is you can clearly see history is repeating itself, and people do not understand how true it is because the same things, they can do the same formula in, wait 3 decades, do the exact same thing, And people still don't get it because they distract you with everything else. They can do the same exact thing. I just, it's crazy that people don't see it. Mountain Man, I always love your calls. I appreciate you. Also, you know, we got to do something.
Yeah, we will. I had 2 housekeeping things though, and this one will drive you crazy. You're going to love it. Okay. So first of all, I was born at 4:08 a.m. Okay. I think you know that time very well, your young daughter. Secondly, in college, because I went to be a broadcaster just like you're doing now, and that's when I figured out that the media was bought and paid for. I worked with Sean McDonough, Mike Tirico, the 2 Monday Night Football guys, and Greg Papa, the guy that does the Raiders, that guy. And I figured out the media was bought and paid for. My nickname in college was Marv, M-A-R-V. So just change your F to a V. So on my website, I created my first ever coupon code, which is 25% off if you put in M-A-R-F, Marf, because it's so close to Marv and Marf. So Marf, I have a coupon code for that. And then last thing was your, what's his face? John, remember you kept saying I'm this guy. What's his name?
John Malkovich. You sound like John Malkovich.
Malkovich. Yes. Okay. So here you go. This is going to blow you away. So after that show, I talked to my wife, Lynn, and I mentioned what you said. And she says, well, do you realize that he was your neighbor? And I was like, what? So I lived in Southern Connecticut, and he lived in the town next to me during the time that I lived there, unbeknownst to me. And this is the 90s. So we didn't have cell phones then. So he had an answering service. And guess who worked for the answering service? My wife. And guess who was his answerer? My wife.
No way.
Yes,
so you mean he paid
yes,
the...
yes,
Oh, that's funny.
Yes. I found that out after the show. It blew me away.
Mountain Man.
Anyway,
I'm showing your website. Mountain Man does we can't, it's very careful about what it is, but he does creams that come from plants, that come from earth, that when you put it on, it's magically better, if you know what I mean. It's like the alphabet, only up from C to D or B to C, B to D. And GratefulMountainRelief.com is his website. He's one of my favorite callers, but he's also one of the Foogle Family businesses. We're not tied up in any way. Honestly, you know, one thing I did want to ask you, like, I would love to have you come on and do like a report, though. That's what I was saying. Like, I want to bring more people on. Grateful Mountain Relief is his website. But he doesn't call in for that, which I love it. So thank you, Mountain Man. You have a wonderful night, all right? And we gotta talk tomorrow. How about that? We'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah,
let's set it up.
Absolutely. Dex has all my contact information, and and for people, just check out some of the comments in the chat. There are plenty of repeat buyers that are Fooglers, and they'll let you know how good my stuff is without me talking about it.
All right. Well, good luck with everything that you do, man. And I'm glad that, you know, we could help you. All right. And have a wonderful night. All right. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay. And then let's see. Who is this? Unprepared. TJ Preps. Or no, I'm sorry. Oh, geez. John. Got it. John, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? I got, first of all, second time, long time. You and Dex are the epitome of professional. So thank you very much for everything you do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And I just I'll make this real quick. I am not a licensed ham, but my brother is, my father is, and my father-in-law is also a fully licensed ham. Their hobby is the Lamborghini Countach of radios. Okay. So what I can tell the family is that even if the media proclaims that repeaters are going to cut out radio communications, all I can say is that's chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
And
chutzpah. Love it.
So the best way to sum it up is you can even use, there are radios that you can get on the internet that act as repeaters to cover long distances of signals that you can obviously travel a lot. So even if the power goes out and even if there was an EMF, there's nothing in the world can stop me from my battery operated radio communicating to another radio, communicating to another radio. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. So you could do a chain of radios, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of radios are you can couple with some brands, and I'm not going to get into it, but I grew up in a suburb outside of Buffalo, New York, and with a world band antenna, it was a world band lightning rod antenna on top of our house, and I could hear radio stations in Germany when the clouds were in the right and when they continued without repeaters. So just wanted to throw that out there, give the family something to think about, and thank you for everything you do. Me and the wife will be getting with you real soon.
Well, sorry, my mic rolled away from me. Well, thank you for calling in, John, and that's a good point. So John's point is that, even if they take away all the repeaters, that experienced ham radio operators would figure a way around it.
They will totally.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in, John, and thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. And we put a lot into this, so it's always nice to get those. You have a great night, all right?
Yeah, you too. And rock on, Marfoogle Family.
All right, John out. Up next, we have TJ Preps. By the way, Born a Hawkeye, I saw you in here. You haven't been in here for a long time. So I've been seeing a lot of older names coming back, and I'm just really thankful to have all of you guys coming back after so long. I mean, it's been probably 6-7 months. So I really do appreciate seeing all these new names. I've stuck through a lot of stuff, and I think at the very end of it, people kind of realize that I don't think people realize how much we got attacked after Hot Musket, and it's so crazy because we covered it, and even that guy that wrote the article about it said that I was going to be attacked, and it happened. And I mean, it continues to happen, but why would 20 channels organize against me? I've never done a negative thing to anybody. It's kind of telling, right? Hello, you were live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Nothing much. Just super excited and extremely nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. Hey, what did you eat for breakfast today?
A cookie. How's that?
That's horrible. That's a horrible way to start the day, but I would do it too. So, I guess let's start off by saying TJ Preps is calling in about underground power lines in new neighborhoods and problems with it. So, calling from Georgia.
Yes, I am in a brand new neighborhood. My house is 1 year old, and everything is underground. The power company is here constantly working on it. And when they leave, there's a high-pitched humming noise coming from the transformer. And I have a video of the noise. It is deafening. It's terrible. And people from Georgia Power are saying that there's nothing they can do about it.
And this sound is from the underground power?
It's coming from the transformer. And you can hear it all over the neighborhood.
And what does it sound like? It sounds like a buzzing, or is it like a...
It's like a really high-pitched buzzing, humming noise.
Maybe that's it because it's underground. Maybe it's because it's vibrating and kind of like if you're driving a car and just something plastic is clicking and it's going, the faster it goes, the louder the sound gets. I don't know, but
we've been having different streets go out of power, lose their power. with no explanation whatsoever, and they come out to work on it, and then this thing starts making this noise again.
Kelly B says
So,
that would be highly annoying. I bet it's extremely annoying.
It is. I mean, like I said, I've done a video on it, and everybody said the same thing. I can hear it. They could hear it when I left my house, and it's down the street.
Well, if maybe you could go get video of it and send it in to us. I would love to hear what it sounds like.
I definitely have a video. It's on my channel.
All right. Do you have a? Oh, we do have a link. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
And I just done the video like day before yesterday, something like that.
Perfect. Here's TJ Preps. And what video is it? Do you have a timestamp or anything?
It is called, the video is, what is the high-pitched noise, humming noise coming from our transformer? That's the name of the video. It's like the second video down. Yeah, the second one.
Boom. Let me play
outside.
Let me play a little second of this. Hold on.
Okay.
My mailbox.
Oh my gosh, I can hear it already.
The power company was out here earlier. Remember, I've told you guys that
the closer you get to it, the worse
one
it gets.
street
it's
in our
right beside
neighborhood
all of our mailboxes.
was
We have like a huge lock
had
box.
lost power.
All right, hold on. We're gonna
day,
watch you.
Something like that. The power company was out here working on the one thing that supplies all the power. Today, do y'all hear that noise?
Oh my God, that's horrible.
It's coming from the power. I don't know what you call them, but anyway.
Oh
do y'all
my
hear
goodness. Are you kidding me? Okay, so this is
all of our power comes from. It supplies the whole neighborhood. So I don't understand why
you're
one
muted
street
out
would be
right
out
now,
of
but
power.
hold on one sec.
And not everybody. Never got an explanation as to why we were out of power.
Wow.
Y'all hear that?
Okay, I'm turning you back up. TJ Preps, this is unbelievable. I could hear it when you were a block away.
Yeah.
Wow. That is
And
just
like I said,
unbelievable.
When I made that video, Georgia Power had just been out there, and there's actually a comment down below my video that somebody from Georgia Power commented on it.
No
They
way.
used to work for Georgia Power. There we go. Yeah. And there's nothing they can do about it, and people could actually lose their jobs for it. It costs so much money to fix it. And they were talking about it causing cancer and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I don't know. I've never went that deep into it, but yeah, I can tell you ever since that started the other day, I've been sick.
Wow. I'm very, very surprised. I'm just very surprised that it's that loud. I mean, you can hear it. I could hear your footsteps in the video, so it's a good mic, but you were so far away, and you can just hear it. It's constant. It's... I mean, so in the chat, did you guys all hear that? Can I just get a general thing from chat? Like, did you all hear what she's talking about? It's absolutely horrendous. I mean, it's really bad. Just to remind you, if you just stepped in, I know that we've about 40 more people just popped in. Listen to the sound that she has to listen to. It's right about here. I mean, from a block away, you can hear it.
Today, do y'all hear that noise? It's coming from the power. I don't know what you call them, but anyway. Do y'all hear that?
Oh my gosh, I can't stand it. If that was in, a block away from my house and I could hear it from there, I mean, you walk for a long time. And the very beginning of the video, look at this. The very beginning, You can hear it.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's TJ. You guys,
They
I'm
It's
can
in the
walking
hear
around
it
on
background.
a
down
mailbox.
in the cul-de-sac. They can hear it in the cul-de-sac at the end of my street, and that's like 15 houses down past my house.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, TJ
And when
Preps,
I
I think
talk to
you
them,
should I think you're right. Like that's something that's, that's a mistake of some sort. That's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yeah.
what to say about that. Yeah. I would not want to live next to that. And so you do have underground power though, right?
Yes, the whole neighborhood is underground. All the power is underground.
Wow, that's incredibly annoying. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, TJ Preps. And I made sure to send over as many people as possible. If you guys all want to, TJ Preps has been in the fam for a while, so please go over and show some love. She's always posting truth, so make sure to show her the Foogle Fam love. Which, by the way, there's been a lot of drama lately. Let's get back on the positive track, back to the love mobs. Mob over, go show some love, all right? Thank you, TJ Preps, for calling in, all right?
Thank you, Adam. You have an awesome evening.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. Up next, we have Anthony. Anthony, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Adam? Yeah, I'm just hanging. I actually had a good conversation with my brother-in-law, and tonight he works for Con Edison out here in New York. They all have underground power. He was explaining to me how they connect the relay.
So they don't have these issues, right? They don't have fires.
Well, yeah, and the way he explained the relay system to me, it's like, when one area goes off, then the whole block goes off, and then it feeds like back into another block, which is not necessarily a block, but they're basically working out the grid where they could basically get it down to blocks, is what basically he was explaining. He said, but from his being there firsthand, like looking at all the technology hasn't changed. The infrastructure, the stuff that they're using is yes, it has chips in it, and he's saying it's vulnerable. The relays could be potentially hacked, and then they could flip them to receiving energy to actually pushing it back in, and then that could cause actual fires. That could cause fires when the electricity starts pumping back in. So it's there is a potential with that. Even though they say it's like it's safer with the underground electric infrastructure, of course, but the technology that they're implying, it's still the same old stuff that they've been using for the past 20 years. I think he said from the 80s with these relay systems. And they changed those back from when they were actually mechanical relays. And then I said to him, actually, would it be safer if we had mechanical relays? I was like, because then it's mechanically either going on or off, And he said, technically it'd actually be safer with the mechanical relay. So,
well,
that was pretty.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. I think that, over time people are going to see that there's kind of solutions for all these things, but we don't sign the check, or we don't end up paying the money to do it, because the United States is just not the same as some of the other countries. We're supposed to be the biggest and the baddest, but we're very conservative and very tight-pocketed when it comes to preemptive care of things like this. So, well, thank you,
of course,
Anthony. Thank you for your call. Is there one more thing you want to say before you go?
Yeah, I did want to say, a lot of chatter within economics these days. People are unsure. I follow it every day as a day trader, and I just the sentiment is out there. People are really unsure. With all the overnight repos, I don't know if anybody's been really following up on that too vigorously, but it's just red flags to me. Inverted yield curve a few weeks back. That's just, a sign of that recession to come. And that doesn't necessarily mean we're going into a recession tomorrow. It could be 2-3 years from now. especially with the amount of money that they keep pumping in the system to keep everything afloat and have everybody thinking that everything's lolly good. You know, oh, the stock market's rallying, it's rallying, but you know, you got to look at a couple of big companies that are in there that are, you know, taking a big hits. So there's a lot of points coming off the board from certain big companies. It's not necessarily a recession like we've seen before, you know. So I mean, it's also a transfer into a digital, you know, system that's inevitable. I mean, and I also feel that the power infrastructure plays a big part in going forward into this digital system and eventually total control. I mean, if you really control the power, you control
everything,
the future,
everything,
exactly. So,
well,
I mean, just wanted to just put that out there, just because I definitely see, you know, digital currencies coming. I mean, whether it's going to be a Fed coin issued, which the Federal Reserve has already issued on their site. You know,
no, they're making it. The only problem with that is when everything goes out, what happens to the money? Can't access it if it's online.
Exactly, and that is my point. You know, I mean, but there are also, you know, other ways of looking at it. I mean, you know, things like Bitcoin. If the people understood it and took to it for what it was, and everybody became a node on the network and held a piece of it and truly decentralized it, then that's when it's truly powerful. But the fact that everybody's just trying to trade it to make money, we actually sold it all to the Fed, and they have control over it now. So the dream of us living a decentralized life away from federal control is out the it's out the conversation. So I mean, going forward, just be aware. I just want everybody to just, you know, keep their eyes open. I mean, a lot of things could be just distraction from what really is coming. Just like, you know, something from out of this world. I mean, you know, I pray every day, and my family and everybody.
Well, good point.
Get through this, you know.
Good point, Anthony. Well, you have a wonderful night, and please call in again. All right.
I definitely will try. Listen, man. I've been here since day one. I'm Prosperous Music, by the way. If you guys haven't, you know, I always try to shout out all the time, but I've been trying to call, never ever to get through. But tonight, finally got a chance to get through, just to give a little piece of what I'm thinking all the time. You know, I always watch, love it. Foogle Fam forever. You already know, Adam.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and you have a great night. Where can we find your music? Prosperous Music. You know, is there do we look up Prosperous Music on a platform?
I mean, on YouTube right now, but I haven't even put anything out, honestly, because I just redid my YouTube. But
okay,
I mean, there's a channel there.
I'll make sure to at least look up even if there's nothing on there, I will look up and I will subscribe to it. Okay. All right. You have a great night.
Thank you, man.
All right. Good night. Up next, we actually have a stranger. A stranger is calling in. Let's see. Who is this stranger? This super weird stranger. None of you know who's calling in next. It's not like there's anything that shows you who's calling in next. And apparently no one's sending the call in next. Oh, maybe that's why. And maybe
I'm trying to get him again.
Okay. I was like, nobody's sending the call through. Nobody, as in nobody, like somebody named Dex. Thanks. All right. Homegrown USA calling about radar update. What's going on?
Hey, my friend, how are you?
Good. So you're working on a new video and you've got something hot here. So I've got this thing here. Go ahead.
I am 100%. I'm 100% back in the saddle, and my eyes are pierced on this radar stuff. And today I caught I caught something, and I'm working on it as we speak. The only thing I really had was a thumbnail to show Dex that bomb over top of Alabama and stuff. I caught that today, and it's absolute. Look at that! Like, look at this. So I'm breaking it down and doing the show right now. And like I said, I wanted to thank everybody for their prayers and everything, and let them know that that we're back, man. We're back, and thankful for everything that you guys obviously have done and to help me and the channel and the whole family, and you know what I mean. And we got some good material popping. I came up today.
Well, that's awesome. I'm loving seeing you back on the saddle. Of course, you took about a month off for you had all this stuff going on. Also, you're just a genuinely good person. You don't want to, the family was having problems, and you just said, I can't do this. You're the kind of person that you just literally, there's not a negative bone in your body. So let's see here. Let's make sure to show your channel. If you guys haven't been to Homegrown USA, you're one of the most successful Foogle family members here. So let's show you.
I got a surprise for you guys. So tomorrow I'm going to try and get a live show out tomorrow, and I got a surprise for actually you and the entire family, and everybody's going to love it. I'm hoping they do, but it's a huge, huge surprise for everybody.
That is super awesome. This is Homegrown USA, and so when are we going to know? We're going to know on the video?
Yes, it'll be on the live show.
Okay,
I have
so if you guys haven't
3 videos of content.
Subscribe to Homegrown USA, make sure to go do so. He is another gentleman who started because of this channel, because I told everybody, get off your butt and start a channel. He did, and he is the ultimate awesome. Look at how fast he is at 12,000. I think he made 10,000 in like a month or 2 months. He is one of the success stories out of the Marfoogle family. I told you guys to make channels. He listened and absorbed everything, and he made a channel, and people flocked to him because he was catching good stuff. Literally, I mean, this is amazing. He literally covered some of the great stuff.
I say it all the time, and thank you to you and Dex and the grace of God that I even have a channel, and the family, of course. But you guys really were my inspiration. You guys, have helped me along every part of the way, and never offered one time for anything in return. It was always free, and it was always easy, and it was always, hey, I need help, and there was always someone in the Marfoogle Network to help me, and you guys were always there for me. So I'm beyond thankful always for you and Dex and the whole family for being just what we are, what we stand for, and how we raise each other up and we're passionate about it.
No, I think you're awesome, and I just love everything about your attitude. So thank you so much for calling in, Homegrown, and I hope that everyone is over on Homegrown's tomorrow. Apparently he's got a surprise for all of us, so I can't wait for it, and I just appreciate you as a person. I appreciate your positive you are somebody who's very closer, much closer to kind of my values. I say, let's all be positive and just keep going forward. So I appreciate that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. As always, thank you for the family, and as always, we pray for the family and our platforms, and everybody else that's just trying to go out and find a little bit of truth in the world.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Homegrown, and you have a wonderful night. God bless you, and I will talk to you later. Okay?
Yep. Thank you guys so much, as always. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Good night. Homegrown is awesome. We didn't get what time tomorrow. That's okay. That means you're going to have to look up his channel 50,000 times tomorrow. So then he will pop up in the suggested, and everybody will be watching Homegrown USA. Homegrown is so kind, says Ann Brown. You are correct. He really, honestly, is an amazing guy. And if you haven't checked out his channel, make sure to go do so now. And bam. Over 3,000. We hit 3,000 again. Thank you guys. I really just absolutely amazed by you guys coming night after night. David Bruton, you think ham may interfere with 5G? Question mark. I do actually. That's a good question. I would honestly I wonder if it would, because it is such a heavy signal. I guess, because 5G is so heavy. It's so heavy that, it won't go through walls. It hits it. So it's like almost physical, invisible physical. Sim74, thank you, David Bruton. I appreciate that. Sim74, thank you for subscribing. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. And a couple minutes ago, Norma Starr, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. Tina Garazi, thank you for subscribing. Kathleen Robinson, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Janimania, thank you for last night. I appreciate that. Patricia Martinez, Rick Dean, Zowie Williams, Lewis Marin, Jack Rhino, Edward, thank you so much for subscribing. You guys are all so awesome. Thank you for spending your Saturday night with us. Again, we've had a lot of, it's just been rough running this channel. We've had to take a couple days off just because, we put a lot of work into this. So please, if you guys want this to continue, please share it out and share it out to new people that have never seen it before. We are increasingly, people say we're not censored. We are. We may be growing on this channel, but we've had problems every single day. And the only reason we're growing is because they can't stop physical people from sharing it. You guys are the reason why this channel is growing. And it's not like it's growing thousands a day or anything. But it's consistent because you guys are constantly bringing new people into the Foogle family. So we appreciate it more than everything. Neversoft Lewis. I don't know why that cracked me up. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the show. Okay, Dex, do you have anything to say?
No, but the phones were like on fire. We've had a lot of calls tonight. That was just amazing.
Yeah, we had, what was that, 10 calls?
We had 11. Made it through 11 tonight.
Wow, that's impressive. We usually maybe get 5, 6, 7. Thank you guys for keeping it to 5 minutes or so. As far as what, we're going to get Mountain Man. We got to connect with him and possibly do kind of a segment with him for main channel. I've been meaning to do that. So I think everybody will really like that.
He's got a wealth of knowledge.
Welcome back, Sandra K. There's a few old names in here that are back, so thank you guys for coming back. And Adura Adams, I think that's why he spelled it wrong. It is spelled Adura. It's Adura. Adra. I get it now. Well, Dex, you have a wonderful night. I love you, and we can eat popcorn together after the show. So,
and I'm glad I didn't have a typo. I thought
No, I think it was spelled right.
I don't know what
I'm sorry for yelling at you.
I gotta go back and change it.
I'm sorry. Do you forgive me?
It's okay.
Okay.
I absolutely forgive you. And God bless everybody. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, now is officially time for me to make a fool out of myself. If you've never been here before, it's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro, row, where I say thank you to each and every person in the chat room in song. And I will sing that song of satisfaction to the world. Have a good night. Gypsy Holler, never had a great night without Watcher. Number 2, Ann Brown, Jonathan Esparza, Susan Donahue, David Bruton. Thank you so much for that. Says Adam, it may just be me, but while I was talking about frequency, I was only getting about 1.5 seconds of connectivity. Well, when the conversation changed, it went back to normal until you named another channel. Clear Diamond. Thank you, Mary Helen Medina. I appreciate you. Now everyone walk down the street to Peachy 10-9 to 3. Here for the real news, Tracy and the fam and the asymmetrical preparedness, and Bo Larson's hanging out with Mrs. Ham. Welcome back, Born a Hawkeye. Love y'all, let's be back. All right, just wanna overreact. Wow. What in the world was that? Well, gee whiz jollers. You know what I mean? Thank you all for being here, including Noble Victory, Nevaeh Johnson, Michelle Cameron, and Mama Henry. Mama Henry. Mama Henry on the 9, oh, London in my mind. El Michelle Smith and Sandra Martin getting it down to. Oh, hey. Hey, thank you, Robin Scholes, for the smile. Red in the Valley. It's been a while. 4 Siamese for me and Taylor V. Thank you for being a G. Flying Turtle Japan, J Naz, and Mr. Man. And Mr. Grumpy Georgia Papa to Isaac. I know a mama. What's that grinning owl, sir? Christina Leisure, yes, sir. I want that, then yes, sir. Hey, Tracy Rice and Faith, this song. I'm about to bring it down with the Morona. Oh no, now I just need a Corona. Heidi 12 got that bit crazy and Mona. Sick with it. Sick with it with the KK. Bobbling. Alfred Phillips and Lasunda Keno got that Jane Lewis and Sandra. Whoa. Now Susie Q, thank you for being here for me, and you are awesome. Hey, number 5, Michelle Cameron and all the riders out here like a rider. I've got my Raymond Rib Curl, able-bodied, got the Mama Grizzly in the burner boulder. Christina Leha, got a Leha, all over the house in the Beha. Ooh yeah, yes, Amanda Ort. Ah, I recognize that name. How you been? How you been? April Osborne is so she's got a Lego Mustang. Thank you, Stargazer. Thanks, Marv. Great show as always. Born a Hawkeye says, love y'all. Blessed to be back. Well, we appreciate you more than you know. Always, always so great. But you know how it goes. Uh-oh. Heartbreak Kid. By the way, I wanted to correct myself. Don't point a laser at anything in the sky. Thanks, the boar, for a month. You're totally right. It was dumb in hindsight. Don't point a laser at anything in the sky. Especially fallen angels. At the firehouse. Lenny Watson. Tom. I think we got the song mixed up here. One of my favorite songs is gone. Oh. Probably never know what it was. That's too bad. Let's end it on a high note. Diamond Paradise, walking down to Zinaldo. Got my Jean Blade and got my Rinaldo. I've got my Steve G rolling down the Saints. Genesi and Susie Q got that Shozy on the grinning out. Baby body, gotta get that Jean. Louis gonna go fry me some babies in the Willie Dugas. I never thought that I would be here today, but I don't think any of you did either. Thank you, Donnie Contrell, Barefoot Lass. And remember, this episode was dedicated to Tony Higginson. case you didn't know, that was me being a rebel. Good night, y'all. Thank you, Prepper Ilea, the boar for a month. Says much love. Boar for the month, rock out live. London, love and support to you, Adam. Pray without ceasing. Stargazer says thanks, Mark. I appreciate it.
I don't know what am I gonna do. Been sleepwalking in rain.
Sandra K says Jesus was the ultimate rebel.
Maybe I should have stayed in bed. All these jeans got a thunder pounding in my head. All it took of you is just one look at you. It's all I need. Now I'm waking up. Now that you're coming around. Like a lightning struck, and I can't keep my feet on the ground. I've been singing this song for far too long. I try to catch a little lightning, but it's gone. All it took of you is just one. Coming around.
Happy birthday, Lynn.
And I can't keep my feet on the ground. Now that you're coming around, it's like a lightning struck, and I can't keep my feet on the ground. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Have a good night. Y'all still there? No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Okay. I'll hang up first. Not. Thank you to General Lee, the 88, Stacy Del Buccia, Glenda Snyder, Florist, Allison White, Mama Henry, Diamond Paradise, Doug N, Teresa K, I'm Reeves, Grand D, Captain Ned, Sherry Stalley Floyd, Blue Alien 47, Ashley Marshall, and Red in the Valley. Griffin, Ginger Grin, Melody Webb, John Nelson, Angel Grayson, Myra Sinai, Mr. Lynnwood, hello, yeah. Miss Andrew Martin, whoa, yeah. I'm gonna do what you do when I am Messiah. Oh, not the enlightened Dusiga. God, number Cameron. Oh, no, I want for Cameron to go grab my Sherry Circle. You're not out, he's a gecko. And not as the motor. Hello, Robin Robinson. No, got a party chopping long and rocking around prison. Now we ride your no. It's a time for the boom boom. It's a time. It's a time for the boom boom. Hello. Hello, who's long guns? Come here back, man. Got the Sioux City and Foro de Con. Got the Terry Rice, got the Allison, got the White and the Susan Wilson. Oh yes, we did got the weapon bandits in a run wood and the able bandit. I'm about to be the mailman in the Ishana Shastina Ojiha. Jennifer Castella with the Rems, Christina Leha and the Rems. And I got the sweet gems and got the sweet gems. So everybody really wanna be the boss for the man. Go with the cheese kill and the bumbo. Greeny us and the dog and Elia. Oh, I want to be the and Lady Blue Alien. With that Susan Meg and the gin to us. Hi, hi, D-Lock 88. Wooda, ba, boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. With the Mama Grizzly. Speed signs Tucson, man. Be jamming with the Patrick Lee. Got the willow dragon breathing all over the fire. Breathing the fire, yeah, man. Sandra K and Susie are the king, man. You know, we be hanging all night long. With the Mama Henry. Gonna make love life, come and right side. I want the butter full of rice. And I eat you that, in Latin jest. Everybody wants that all of the best. Who's Susan Cole when I just Mark Davis? I really wanna go get no river. I wanna munch that rose camera. I wanna feel ready for the mama. Pamela. Obama. Nobody understands ya. Thank you, 0 Point Universe, for being here. I appreciate all of you, Ja. Yes, Ja. And of course, good night, Ja. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. I wish I could. Hey, Johnny Hump, thank you for subscribing. As always, if you subscribe, you will get a shout out on that fight. Every 5 minutes I will call it you out. 400 boy coming back, now we bow. Oh yes, now with Tony Dixon and about to break. Every time that we've gotta go now, we gotta say. Every time that we gotta go, but we don't wanna go, so we hang out at the end of the Marfoogle Nation. Yeah, it's a Marfoogle Nation. Nobody wants me down now. Everybody wants to see Gal Firestorm. But now we hang out every night after the show, and no, ain't right. Gotta say up now, we flip it right. Gotta say hello to the family now. No, we say no, but not nine. I'm not German, but I think you're fine. Gonna break down and I see your mind. Working like it does it all the time. In a big lies on the face of the mind. I'm gonna go home, gotta sit down. All I want is for you to love each other. Gotta bring round, gotta make check, see the plan we just happy for me. Gotta give Max left line. Here for the real news, I see it. All the way down and I gotta find. All the way down and I gotta find. Mama's a me, gotta bring it for me. Oh man, oh, there's got to go for me. Oh, just gotta bring it down. Oh, just really wanna say it now. All I wanted from you was a smile. All I just wanna be here for a while. Everybody, nobody needs to go home. And yes, you can stay here. G. Thornton, all of you, live your life and be with forever. Mary Shaw, Anastasia, Romanoff. Gotta say that Amy Troll be here for me. James E. and Godot, gotta go sing. Flying Brian sticking it out.